I'm alive.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd just like to say that I'm on the naughty chair again. And I'm sat on two cushions to boost me up.
I could just drop mine down a bit.
No, don't do that. They're really nice chairs, actually. They're very comfortable and they belong to your parents.
Yeah.
So it's very comfortable, but it is very low.
There's another one that I've just moved in over in that corner. This one doesn't match exactly, but it's the same kind of chair. Just got a slightly different detail at the top.
But low.
Yes. So welcome. We're back at Home with the Fishers, episode 3. And we hope you've had a lovely Easter. And
we
had
have
a good break. Yeah, we've had a really nice Easter. It's been quite relaxed, really, hasn't it?
We've been, to use the vernacular, we've been doing lots of pottering.
We have.
We've been a bit of faffing in the workshop. Nicola's done lots of faffing in the garden. Yeah. So what did that entail exactly, your faffing in the garden?
Well, I've planted a lot of seeds. So I've planted coriander, tomatoes, sage, some unknown tiny tube of seeds that I found that must have been my dad's. And what have I planted today? I've planted some foxgloves and persimmon. So I've been doing Penstemon. That's it.
Well, I really like penstemon, and when I could see there was a type called Firebird that was this really vibrant red. I used to like Firebird, penstemon called Firebird.
I think these are mixed.
But again, I do know that there's a lot of very accomplished blind gardeners.
Yeah.
And when I was having my rehab, my social worker or sensory worker was called Maureen Overend.
All right.
And she said that one of her clients was a blind cat. She was totally blind. And what she didn't know about gardening, she said the garden was amazing. And it was just obviously all done by touch and sense of smell.
Yeah.
She said she had a wonderful garden. So.
Good evening, Wayne. Hope you've had a good Easter.
Happy Easter. Is that Wayne Fisher or Wayne?
Wayne the Woodturner.
Oh, hi, Wayne the Woodturner.
I remember seeing, I think it must have been on Gardener's World or something, a blind lady who had a lovely garden. And that was really interesting, seeing how she did that. And she could tell the feel of, whether it was a weed or a plant and what type of plant it was.
Yeah. Again, it just highlights, the blind and visually impaired, their deafness of touch, and whether or not it's gardening or, wood turning and being able to really, really feel on an intimate level what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. So we've got Dave the wood barber as well.
Hi, Dave.
Just checking you can hear us okay. We've only just arrived, so we're no issues this week, hopefully. But we just went live rather than scheduling. When I get a bit of time, I'm going to play around with scheduling and just get that to work. Sound and vision is great. Awesome.
Cool.
So we've got a few things that we were going to chat about. What should we start with? Do you want to start with demonstrating?
Yes, we're going to discuss the processes and the emotions and the logistics and everything to do with being a wood turning demonstrator. Now, that's going to come from my perspective and also Nicola's perspective, and we're going to and fro the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just say, right, this is what I do, blah, 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 and Nicola doesn't speak for 15 minutes. We're going to do it chronologically. So it all starts with Nicola, really, the demonstration.
Okay, we've got a question here. Just one quick question. Is Chris feeling okay? He looks a little unwell.
Now, Nicola said this, but I'm tired.
Yeah. He does. I said to him earlier, because Chris tends to go a bit quiet when he's either anxious or if he's done a lot of turning, or we've had a demo, we've had a late night and we've been really busy. So after Maker Central, expect to see him looking like this. You don't look that bad. I think you slightly, it's just the light as well, so you look a bit red.
Is it sunburn?
You maybe caught the sun a bit.
I'm tired. Maybe it's last Thursday, which it will cover in the demo topic.
But you're fine otherwise, aren't you?
Fine. Tired.
It's a blind thing as well.
Shall we say it?
Well, it's called concentration fatigue.
Who asked if I wasn't?
Dave the wood barber.
Oh, thanks, Dave. No, I feel all right. I've got a G&T here on the go. So, yeah, I'm just feeling tired, mate, and a bit, I think, let's call it weary. We've had a busy, sort of like 4 or 5 days. Yeah,
we've had a busy weekend, really, haven't we? Not manic, but we've done a lot. Anyway, he says if you ever want to chat, you've got his number.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. No, I'm just a bit weary at the minute, and well, you're back in work tomorrow, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a chance of some afternoon naps actually there then, while the cat's away.
Steve's on. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve. Happy Easter, mate.
So anyway, let's talk about demonstrating.
Yes, and it all really starts with what you do. So,
well, obviously we have a website, and it says Chris Fisher, the Blind Woodturner, is available. Happy birthday, Steve.
Happy birthday, Steve. The only man I know that has 365 birthdays a year.
I know. So we've got a website that says Chris is available for bar mitzvahs, weddings, and wood turning demonstrations. So people tend to either email via the website and say, hi, we're from such and such a wood turning club. Would Chris like to come and do a demo for us? Here are some dates. So then I'll check the calendar, see what we've got in, let Chris know that someone's asked if we'll do a demo, and then we'll go back and pencil in the date and sort details out. And generally it goes in the diary.
If that is, they agree to our costs.
Yeah. Obviously we charge a fee for traveling somewhere.
We have had a couple of wood turning clubs, smaller clubs, say we can't afford that, and I'm not going to go into names or money. They just said we can't afford that, so obviously it doesn't get penciled into the calendar.
No.
So, and that's it. That's that discussion ended.
Yeah. Well, another bit of that discussion, if there are wood turning clubs that are interested in you going, but some of them are smaller and they don't have the same funds, it might be possible for them to collaborate with other wood turning clubs in the area and do one big one.
There's an idea.
That's an idea.
Actually.
Anyway, so in the normal course of things, I would then book the demo, put it in our calendar, put it on the website so it goes on our events list, and then we just wait for the demo to come round. So then it's you, really. Let me just read. Steve says, oh, he's so famous and wanted. What, you expect to get paid? How very dare you? I know it's shocking, isn't it?
It's shocking. I should be doing it all for free.
You should.
And screw the bills, and paying for this.
Can you just turn that light off?
Yeah, I can't afford the lighting, obviously, because I do it all for free. In an ideal world, of course, if I was worth mega millions, we would be doing a lot more for free. But we do charity demos. I have done demonstrations for charity, which we do for free, because we want to give back to worthy causes. So anyway, so the demo date is arriving, and the day before I go into the workshop and start the long job of packing up Now, every woodturn is the same, and you go through what I need. You end up taking everything but the kitchen sink, because we've all done it. We've got to a demo and gone, oh my Lord, I've not packed such and such. And then you're trying to think on your feet, what do I do now? What do I do now? Hopefully the club might have one. And if they haven't, you really have to
improvise.
Put your best improvisational head on. So the day before, I spend many hours getting all my kit together. I'm literally thinking of and preparing for every eventuality. What now?
Steve says it's a shame that I'm there, otherwise they could just hand you some ripped up newspaper and say it's 500 quid.
Yeah, they could actually. But you know what? I bet smell the difference. So they're clever trousers.
Well, we also have a checklist, don't we?
We have a checklist that after I've got everything packed up, and it's all in the workshop in its tool chest and the odd box that I take. It's all there, and then Nicola will go through the checklist. She'll read it out, and I'll say, "Got it, got it, got it, got it. Forgot that. got it, got it, got it." So the first few demos, it was really, I really need to hear this checklist now. But now it's I've pretty much got it down all mentally. So the day before is spent not only packing but mentally psyching up as well for the actual demonstration, going through the project, getting the mental images going, getting the creative juices flowing, trying to just get everything grounded and just going over through the demo mentally. So that's the day before.
And the other thing we have to think about, if we're traveling, if we're staying overnight, obviously we've got to pack a few bits and pieces. So we have an overnight stay checklist as well. So we just make sure, depending on where we're staying, that we've got stuff like a few bits for breakfast and coffee and tea, and just little things like that just make a difference. Wayne the Woodturner says, the demo I'm doing, I'm not allowed to sand. I'm going to have loads of stuff in various stages of finish.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, that's yeah. Some wood turning clubs don't allow you to sand, and they haven't got any dust distraction available. So yeah, that's cool. I've heard of wood turners doing that before.
Yeah,
having stuff at various stages of.
It's like
completion.
Here's one I made earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're gonna do the whole. It's the Blue Peter approach to wood turning.
Yeah.
And anybody listening overseas, Blue Peter is a.
Dave's just said, "Are you doing a demo at Blue Peter?"
Yeah, I'd be the one that slips in the elephant way, if you remember that. So
I'll be using loads of Yorkshire grit, he says.
Yeah, Yorkshire grit, and yeah, keep the dust. If you can't get away with not sanding at all, and you're going to sand a little, just say to them, "Oh yeah, I use lots of Yorkshire grit to keep the dust down."
Well, what about that paste as well? Does that not work?
Yeah, the beeswax lemon oil.
Yeah.
Paste. Yeah, that's good for sanding and making all the. It's like Carl Jacobson when he sands and he uses oil and wax. It makes all the dust clump together and just fall as a heavy particle. Oh yeah, and on the packing up thing, we have to consider his lordship that's lay on the floor next to me.
Yeah.
Of course, his meals and food bowls and water and things.
Yeah.
So that's
the pre.
That's sort of like the pre-demo.
D-1.
Yeah, and then on the day.
Yeah, so on the day, I have to make sure that I've reversed the car up to the garage.
Yeah.
So I try to remember the day before to park it right, but sometimes I don't. So I end up having to go out first thing and doing it. Chris will then start putting stuff in the car. And I do things like get the postcode, have a quick look at the map, make sure I know where we're going. I've started as well. We do all our accounts on a system called Wave Accounting. So I've started just doing an estimate of the demo fee so that I've got something to give to the wood turning club when we go. And just check any emails that we've had with any particular instructions about how to get there or where they're located, or stuff like that. So, and then
I load the car, which takes approximately 30 to 40 minutes, depending on whether or not I need to take a lathe or they've got the same lathe as I have, in which case we can leave it at home. So I load everything. The first few demos, we had stuff sliding all over the car, falling off, and rattling around. So again, that's something you have to master.
Yeah.
The safe loading of your vehicle. But now I load it in a certain way every time, and nothing happens.
Yeah, we've got that sussed, haven't we?
Yeah.
So then the next thing is we set off. We always leave lots of time. Most of the evening demos will be about 7 o'clock start, but you can pretty much guarantee we'll be there by about 3, depending on the traffic. But we like to give ourselves plenty of time, especially if we're going on the M6, because it's been pretty rubbish recently, and we've had some really bad journeys that should take 2 hours have probably taken at least double that. So we always factor in a contingency, and we kind of like to get there, don't we, and find somewhere to have a cup of tea and coffee
and
just chill out for a bit. And then we're not in a rush and we know that we're at the destination. Hi Maggie. So then it's about an hour before the demo.
I like to have an hour before the demo because I lay everything out in a specific place, again, where I know it will be at hand, to facilitate a smooth demonstration. But as the demo progresses through the evening, it's me tapping around more for where things are, because in the heat of battle you put that down because you want to get on with the next step, because you're under these strict time constraints, and the demo might be anywhere between 2 and 3 hours. There's often a tea break and a judging of the club members' pieces of art in between. So it generally ends up in sort of like disarray.
Right, we've got a couple of questions. Dave the Wood Barber says, "Good job you don't charge by the hour." It is.
Yeah.
And Steve says, does your rehabilitate...
Does my what? Rehabilitate?
cause issue with getting insurance? No, disability, I think he means.
Oh, no.
No, actually...
you did disclose it, didn't you?
Yeah, when we got the public liability insurance, I can't remember what the guy's name is now. It was one that was recommended to us, who sort of knows wood turning and insures quite a number of wood turners. And I said, Chris is blind. And he said, yeah, it's not a factor. So no, it's not been an issue at all. And we've done it now. We're probably on about the 3rd year of doing the insurance.
Yeah, didn't bump the premium up any.
No, it's been the same. I think, if anything, it might have gone down by about £1 or something like that. But
whoa, what are you going to spend that on? Fizzy drinks and
sweets. Yeah. So we've unpacked the car, which we tend to do together, don't we?
When we get to the demo,
and you set everything out.
Yes, and have a bit of a chat with the club members and secretaries and chair people and all this sort of stuff. And again, going through mental checklists, psyching myself up. That's the best way to put it. Psyching myself up making sure that the works on the lathe, I've got the lathe set at the speed that I want it set at. So it might involve a bit of a pulley ratio change. So yeah, it's all getting in the zone, in the demo zone.
Getting a cup of tea.
Getting a few cups of tea. And sometimes if we've not eaten since lunch, we'll try and get some cereal bars or some sandwiches.
Yeah,
from
we're not
somewhere.
very good on the food bit, are we?
No, we need more practice on the food bit.
Yeah, well, we're generally not very good on food. But we don't tend to take enough. We had a demo this last week and we took some lunch, but we didn't think about taking anything for later. So we
went from lunch to 1 o'clock the following morning without any food.
Yeah. And
then we went to bed at about 1:30 a.m. So we didn't have anything for a long time.
So right after we've done that, so are we at the point now where you're ready to start the demo?
Yes, but actually, whilst I'm setting up, ready to do the demo, you're doing your own thing, aren't you?
Yeah. So let me just read what this. I know what Steve meant now. He put re-ability rather than disabled because he says Chris is not disabled in my mind. Mine neither.
No, but technically and legally I am.
Yeah.
So it's very nice for people to say, we don't see Chris as disabled, and that's really a nice sentiment. But I am legally, I am, and you have to disclose it.
Yeah.
And it's to be totally blind is quite a severe disability, really, in the scheme of things, because it's a huge element for cock-ups. So no, but there was no issue with it. But while I'm prepping for demo, you're schmoozing, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I usually end up chatting with some of the guys from the wood turning club, and I try to get some photographs of Chris setting up, maybe one where he's got a nice clean smock on and he's sort of ready to go, couple of bamba. I've started doing a lot more Instagram stories because those are good, and I did some last week. If it's not a really good picture, or I sit at the back so that everybody else can sit at the front, there's no point me sitting on the front row. So sometimes I'm limited during the demo in terms of what photographs I can get. So I just tend to do them on Instagram stories, and I've done a bit of video and just little things like that. So the better pictures I'll put on Instagram on Chris's grid, but otherwise I'll just sort of do bits and pieces in between. But I just try and put something on so that everybody can see what Chris is doing.
So
and I look after Bamba as well. Once you start the demo, Bamba and I sit at the back together.
And he's unharnessed, so he's allowed to be fussed and things.
Yeah.
So not fussed over. So that's what Nicola's doing just right before the demo when I'm setting up, and then really you get introduced by the secretary or the chairman.
Yeah.
And that's it. You're off and running. So the demo starts, and you're always conscious of a few things whilst you're doing the demonstrating. And for you, those of you out there that do the demo, you might agree with me here, or you might have not a disagreement, but your own way of doing things. But when I'm doing a demo, I'm conscious of time constraints, especially
tea breaks.
Yeah, tea breaks. You want to put on a good show. It needs to be entertaining, and I like to have a laugh and have good banter with the audience as well. And that's the time, because I'm not recording with the camera and having to think about that. That's when I get sort of like cheeky and have a giggle, isn't it? So the banter's toing and froing in a very, very light-hearted, positive way.
Yeah.
And that's good. I'm describing everything I'm doing just like I do with the YouTube videos. And that, again, that's helping my mental images as I'm turning. The more I speak, the more I describe, the better my mental image of the project. So I'm talking about that.
The other thing you talk about as well, I'm always saying to Chris, make sure that you tell people the story.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who've never met Chris before, never heard how he went blind and anything else like that. So he will just talk a bit about that at different points. Just hang on a sec, there's a question. Without sight, are you less anxious of talking in front of crowds?
I've always enjoyed talking, and I've never been a nervous Nelly apart from those 4 years, but that was because of the blindness. I've always been a jolly, happy person, really. Love to talk, love to make friends. I love to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and, want to be friends with everybody and be, and in turn be liked. So I don't get nervous public speaking, whether or not it's a wood turning demo or it's at a business lunch or a business breakfast where I've done public speaking, different events like that. Doesn't bother me. But I think it does help not being able to see the audience. Because there's that saying where, oh, you've got stage fright. Well, imagine that everybody's naked in the audience. Well, yeah, I haven't got that problem. I can't see people. So no, don't suffer with stage fright. No. So anyway, hope that answered your question. No,
on, there's another
not
question.
A nervous Nelly, really.
Do you give yourself any rest between demos to give your mind a rest, or could you do it daily like it was a form of employment?
No, my head would be custard. So no, that'd be hard going for us. And logistically, we couldn't because Nicola works. I couldn't do it. The only way that would happen is if I did public demonstrations at home every day, which wouldn't be as tiring because you're at home, everything's set up. But the whole packing up, driving, doing the demo, driving home for hours, that'd be some graft. That I think.
Well, we drove on Thursday. We drove for 6 hours, didn't we? Pretty much.
Yeah, not each way. It was
no 3 hours each way, but that was 6 hours driving. And then we were there from 6 till 10, and then. I mean, they're long days, really, aren't they? And sometimes.
Well, a demo is 3 days' work.
Yeah. Sometimes it depending on where we're going. If I might have worked and then we'll leave mid-afternoon, or I might be in work the next day, and sometimes I can be leaving home at 6 the next day, which is a shocker.
But let me just say, for any of you that have been offered a demonstration somewhere, and you probably interested and quite keen to do it because it's lots of fun. They're lots of fun, and you're sharing your experiences and inspiring people, and we're all different. And Steve, who's a complete nut job, but in a lovely way. His demos and his personality come across, like Dave's Wood and Wayne, and so anybody out there that's been asked to do a demo and you've sort of like put it off, do it. You'll never know until you do it. And if I can do it, you can do it. Flipping heck, But just be aware of it's hard work, but really enjoyable, and also you're going to get paid for it. So it's a nice little earner.
Dave the wood barber says it will be many years for me doing any demos.
Why?
There you go, Dave. Why?
So get back to us, Dave, with that. Why?
Yeah.
But yeah, after doing the demo.
Well, there's another thing that I've got. Often when we go in the tea break, we're asked to judge the turning, and I really like doing that. It's great because obviously I look at things and I think, oh, I like that one, or I like that one, and then Chris will feel them all. But usually we've got a consensus, haven't we, of which ones we like, and either from me seeing it or Chris feeling it,
and we confer over it.
And you'll sort of say, oh well, this might have needed a bit more work, or it could have done with some work on the bottom, or you'll talk a bit more technically.
Yeah, but
we love doing that.
Yeah, we love doing that. And of course, you have to remember the different categories, or different skill levels. You'll have the rookies, the new woodturners. So of course, they're not going to be doing, work to the standard of Richard Rathbun or, Jimmy Clues or any of the, Nick Agar, obviously, and then you have your intermediates and then your advanced. So you've got to consider many things, but it's a great honor and it's lots of fun. I even sniff them, to try and get a grasp of what species it is, but it can be difficult sometimes because they've got some finish and polish on them. But yeah, Nicola will have a good look at them. She'll feel them, describe any colours that might have been involved and things like that, and I'll have a good feel, and
then we'll come to a decision, won't we?
Yeah, so that's fun, that.
Dave says that he's not got enough experience in a nutshell. Wayne the Woodturner says, but you are used to speaking to people, Dave.
Yeah.
But when you did your first demo at Warrington, you'd done your YouTube videos, and then Phil said, go on, what did he say to you?
Hey, Chief, do you fancy doing a wood turning demo? And I said, hold on, Phil. This is Phil, the store manager at Axminster Warrington, who I think is hilarious. He goes at a mile a minute, doesn't he? He's so, he was like, take a breath, Phil. But I said, you do know that I'm blind. He said, don't worry, I've seen your YouTube channel. He said, you're better than half of the monkeys I get in here anyway. He didn't mean that, but I think he was trying to boost me, to say, look, stop, trying to swerve the issue and get in it. So I said to myself there, mentally and internally, I said, I've got to practice what I preach here. Blind people can do whatever they put their mind to, so can others. So I said, if I don't say it, I'm wimping out and I'm not practicing what I'm preaching. So I said, yeah, I'll go for it. And was I nervous that morning? I nearly hurled everywhere.
Did you have to stop at McDonald's?
You had to stop for the toilet for me. Not to be sick, for the, we won't go into that for number 2. But anywho, yeah, the nerves were bad, that one, isn't it? But as soon as I'd got into the store and set up, I was chomping at the bit to get going. It's just fear of the unknown. And that was the only time that I thought, flipping heck, this is a big ask. But you get through it. And if you get a catch, you get a catch. If something happens, it happens to all the woodturners.
Well, everybody wanted you to do well, and they wanted to help you if you needed anything. But I mean, you're pretty independent anyway. I don't know whether it was that one where you used the bandsaw. Was it?
No, it wasn't the first.
It was a later one. You used the bandsaw and freaked everybody out.
I needed to just trim a piece of wood for another project during the day, and it was a bit too long to fit between centres or something. So I just grabbed it, turned around, and obviously I've got a bandsaw at home, so I turn the bandsaw on, and people are going, "Oh, we can't watch that!" and they were all panicking and turning around and walking away. So that was funny. But yeah, no, demos, they're lots of fun. The hard work and the actual process of the demo, you have to consider many different variables. How long have I got? Am I doing it safely? Am I entertaining the audience? Are they getting the money's worth? Let's make it a great project. But of course, again, in the real world, things can go wrong, and you can have a catch or whatever, and you think, right, well, let's just carry on and deal with it like you would in your workshop back at home. If you're just there with a cup of tea and the radio on, what happens if you get a catch? You sort it out. What happens if you get a catch on a demo? Sort it out. That's the end of it. So yeah, the demos generally are lots and lots of fun. So if you are interested, bite the bullet and do one. You won't regret it. Once you've done one, that's it. You're away. The hardest part is the travelling, really.
Yeah. Let me just read these. So Dave the Wood Barber says he's used to speaking about hairstyles. So Wayne the Woodturner says, so as you're turning, you can take the piss out of the haircuts. Dave says he's not going to win this one. Steve says he doesn't get asked to demo for 2 reasons: because he lives in Ireland and the cost of travel, and because to demo in Ireland you have to be a member of the Turners Guild. Wayne says that's a pisser. It means a lot of good turners don't get a chance to show what they do. That's a shame. But Steve, I mean, I've seen you demo in the UK, UKIS, Maker Central.
They're missing out.
Yeah.
Because Steve, and obviously people see Steve, turning on YouTube and his live streams, making his, set of darts and all this sort of mad stuff. And there's too many great projects, and Steve is a great innovator. Steve's someone that does things for the first time, and everyone's like, jaw on the floor. Can't believe he's done that. So it's a great shame that the masses don't get to see you do your thing, Steve. But maybe in the future you'll maybe you might not even want to. Do you want to, Steve?
Dave the Wood Barber says, I made a noodle step, believe it or not. What's a noodle step?
Never heard of that.
No, I don't know what a noodle step is. So, are we still at the demo?
Yeah, so we finished the demo. It's gone great. That was 3 hours of controlled chaos.
Yeah.
And
then we get to the best bit.
What's the best bit?
The best bit is, right, everybody out.
Yes, it's, this village hall has got to be cleared and closed on the dot to hand the keys back to the caretaker that wants to go home. And all the club members want to either catch the last pint at the local or get home and have a whiskey before they go to bed. So I want to be putting everything in its place, nice and regulated, and this routine that I go through. None of that. It's like, get out. So you have 20 people helping you clear up and pack up and get out, and it's like my head's like, whoa, what's happening? And where do you want it in the car? No, leave it. So Nicola just says, just put it on the pavement or in the car park next to the car. Chris has to put it away again, so it's all stable and not sliding and rocking all over the place.
It is funny though, isn't it? It's pretty consistent everywhere we go.
Yeah,
we get to the end and then it's like, right.
Yeah, that is
clear up, get the lathe off.
That's not even controlled chaos. That's just chaos. So yeah, the last half hour of the evening is generally utter madness.
And then we drive home, and usually we don't say that much, do we? Really, we sort of might say a couple of things if something unusual happened, but
then you have the post demo, or it'd be the same for actors or musicians. You have the post. That's what I experienced anyway. The post demo high.
Yeah.
Because you've just done a great evening. You've had a laugh. You've been doing what you really love and you're passionate about, which is wood turning. So that's always lots of fun. And then you're sort of like, you're buzzing. So if it's a relatively short journey home and it's a local demo like we've got on Thursday in Mold, North Wales, shout out for Cheshire and North Wales Woodturners Association.
Yeah.
We're there on Thursday evening doing a demo. That's what we'd call a local. So by the time you get home, generally on the good side of midnight, you still, couldn't go to sleep yet. You're still buzzing.
Stay up for
You've got to stay up. Got to stay up and come down.
Oh, the worst thing though is getting back in the middle of the night and having to empty the car.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the worst things.
Yeah, we empty the car when we get home as well, don't we? Because you don't want to be driving around to client meetings the following day.
Not good for me doing that.
With half a ton of equipment in the back. So, yeah, we have to empty the car.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's yeah, but when you finally get back in the house and you sit down and you've got a drink and it's like, whoa, what a great night.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't sleep if you tried anyway, if you went to bed, because
you had got to chill out for a bit.
Your head's still racing. So that's really the day of the demo, and then the day after I have to go in then and I spend an hour putting everything away. It's quicker to put things back. But I put everything back and reset the workshop. It goes to its default condition, which is everything in its place, nice and tidy, everything stowed away. And then if I haven't got a demo for a while, I can get on with some normal projects or a bit of YouTube and whatnot. If I need to do projects around the house, a bit of DIY and stuff, I can crack on with that. So yeah, it's quite a busy 3 days, but worth it.
Steve says yes, he would like to do it. He needs the extra cash. Dave the Wood Barber says a noodle step is a step for hippie noodle Richard Morley's other half. Oh right, okay.
All right.
But Dave made one out of noodles, says Wayne the Woodturner. Not just any noodles, they were super noodles.
You're turning noodles. I know I've turned breeze block and Steve's turned anything he can glue together, or even boil sweets. That maniac.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So are we done on the demos then?
Yeah, we're pretty much done on the demos. Just to recap, it's 3 days of hard graft, but also one great evening of fun and inspiration and meeting new people and forming new friendships and getting paid. So it's well worth it.
So we were at Ise Nene Valley Woodturners on Thursday.
Northamptonshire.
And they're in
the village of Cranford St Andrew. And Nicola can describe the village.
It's one of the it's what you would call a village, with lots of cottages with thatched roofs and just old properties. There was a church dating back to 1674. We couldn't go in it because by the time we found it, it was too late. It was closed. But we had tea and cake in the old forge next to the village hall. It was a really nice little village.
There was a wedding going on in the village at Cranford Hall.
Yeah.
It's still
that was
owned,
like a big
still owned
house.
by the lord of the manor, as it were. The family that has the estate and the mansion house there, which is from Georgian times.
But it was a really nice,
great weather too. So
little place, and it was the demo was in the village hall. So that was just next door to the tea room, and that was good. It was a good day, wasn't it? We had a good day. It was really a good day.
Yeah, great crowd as well. Big shout out to Ise Nene Woodturners. For those of you that know John Clothier, that's his local club. So John was there, and that demo came about by one of my demos, Axminster Nuneaton. So a couple of the Ise Nene members were in the audience. Saw me turning, were amazed by it and asked me to demo. So that was cool. But that was a really, really good crowd. If you get the opportunity to demo at Ise Nene, which Martin Saban-Smith is doing shortly.
On the 25th of May, I think.
25th of May. If you get the opportunity to demo there, do it, because it's a great club in a great little village. Fantastic.
And then this Thursday we're at Cheshire and North Wales Woodturners.
We demoed there last year. Great crowd. Another little village hall. I remember last year we got there and the kids would sort of like it was an after school club, wasn't it? And they were doing, I don't know, they were running around having lots of fun. Sports.
It's like a gym kind of thing they were doing.
Sort of like kids gym. So that was a great demo. And young Ewan, who's a young, he's 18, 19 years of age. Ewan, he's a young turner.
He loves Bamba.
So hopefully Ewan will be there this Thursday.
So
more of the same. Wednesday packing up, Thursday driving, demonstrating, Friday unpacking.
So let me just read out where we're up to. Steve says, would it be worth investing in a trailer and keep a demo kit in it just to hook up and go?
Nicola wouldn't pull a trailer. Would you?
No, probably not.
Spoil the aesthetic lines of the vehicle.
No, it's not that. I've never pulled a trailer, but it's, I suppose, the cost of investing in a trailer and a separate demo kit.
Well, we couldn't afford it.
It's
anyway.
Probably not financially viable to do that.
An easier option.
It's a good idea.
Would be to get if we had the money, I'd like a bigger vehicle or a van, a dedicated van.
Yeah.
You know, we could get a cage in the back for Bamba, and before everyone goes, "Oh, putting him in a cage," he's so used to that. He travelled that way for 18 months as a guide dog.
Yeah.
It's a very safe way, and obviously it'd have a lovely blanket. I'd love a dedicated van, really. Yeah. And then you could have kit in there.
Yeah. Well, Steve says he's going to do that soon for setting up a mobile turning school. That sounds like a really good idea. Dave the Wood Barber says, no idea who John Clothier is. Don't tell John I said that. So, right, let's do workshop stickers. We've not really had many workshop stickers recently because I think we've had stickers from everybody. So
I bet, though, compared to a lot of turners, I've got very few.
Maybe.
I bet it's. I don't know if people. It's a blind thing.
Yeah.
People thought, what's the point sending him a sticker? He can't see it. True. Well done, genius. I can't see it. But if someone sends me a sticker, I know they've sent me a sticker and it means a lot and it gets stuck on the sticker board. It means something to me. Who cares if I can't see it? I know I've got it.
So this one came from Nick, aka the Flaming Turner. So we've done a sticker swap with him. So this will be going on Chris's board now that I've mentioned it to you. So we have currently the good old Blind Woodturner sticker. We have also the Keep on Turning sticker, and we have the Can't See the Wood or the Trees sticker. And we're hoping by the time we go to Maker Central, we may have some new stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anybody wants to do a workshop sticker swap that hasn't done one, or you want one of these stickers, just let us know. Just message us. If you do it via the website, it will come via email to us.
Or if you know somebody else that does sticker swaps, workshop sticker swaps, bear me in mind, because like I've just said, I get told who they're from, and
we've got a note here. So obviously I read these out to Chris. It
means a lot to me to get a sticker, and it's a great thing, and everybody does it, and I'm sure I could stake a lot of money on it if I had it that I haven't got anywhere near as a lot of turners. But
we'll get that sorted at Maker Central this time.
Yeah.
Steve says he's got a new design set of stickers ordered for Maker Central. Woo! Well, put us down for some of those, please.
Yes.
Also, I'm trying to get the podcast on iTunes. I've submitted it about 3 times so far, and it's been rejected. And I've looked at the list of the reasons why podcasts can get rejected. And apart from an issue with the size of the graphic, which I've now just sorted, I can't see any reason. So I'm hoping that it will be on iTunes very soon, and maybe this last submission will finally sort it. But it's taking a while.
What was the first rejection?
Well, I don't know.
The first rejection was it was test content.
Oh yeah. The first one was it was test. Yeah, they did say it was test content.
But it wasn't. It was that was our podcast, and it was up as was intended. And then they've rejected it on because it had our name in the title, or episode 1 or 2, something spurious like that.
Well, that was in the list of possible issues. So
we can't fathom it out. It's like,
anyway, I'm hoping it'd be great just to get that sorted. So that should be done soon. So we've done those. Shall we talk about the would you survive if you lost your sight question?
Oh, yes. Now, we were having a bit of a discussion today. Just, I said, the people want to, hear all the time that, our experiences and people's thoughts about my blindness and things like that. And I thought, well, we're going to sort of like flog it to death, the whole topic. But Nicola made a valid point, which was, there you go, there's a...
Sorry, I was just typing.
Oh, right, yeah.
What did you say?
Yeah, when I was saying, oh, should we talk about me being blind again? And you went, yes, we should, because, it's who I am.
Yeah.
It's...
Well, I think part of why we're doing this is to show a different angle to you as a woodturner, and not just Chris Fisher, the blind woodturner who stands in his workshop, but also to show what it's like for both of us with you being blind, and what it means on a day-to-day basis, and what it means for you.
Yeah, so
I think there's probably, like the last podcast we did, I asked you a couple of questions, and there are probably things that people either wouldn't ask you because they might not feel that it's appropriate, whereas I'll ask you anything, or it's just things that people are not aware of. But the reason why I thought we'd mention this bit, when we were at Axminster on Saturday, Martin Saban-Smith was demoing and Mick Hanbury. So we went along to spend the day there. One of the people who was there, he said he didn't know if he would survive going blind or how he would deal with it. And I said, you'd probably deal with it much better than what you imagine, although I'm not saying it would be easy. And I talked a bit about what I know of Chris's experience going blind. And also we were talking about, and I mean, I talk about this guy quite a bit because David Rathbun, I think he was called, Rathbun, the policeman who was shot in the face and he went blind. And I think he lived for about 2 years being blind, but unfortunately he couldn't cope with it and he committed suicide. And knowing Chris now, I think about him a lot because I can understand a bit more what might have made him do that. But I read something as well the other day. I'm not sure whether it was John Furness on his website was saying that it takes about 10 years to fully get the whole living as a blind man thing. Well, you've passed 10 years now. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, this is the best that I've felt in the whole time this year. It's the best that I felt since. So maybe, yeah, he's right when you think about it. It's strange. I hadn't ever thought of, the time from going blind to when you really reach a point of complete acceptance. Maybe it was last year when Shearer interviewed me and I said, I don't want my eyesight back, and I don't. And it is that complete acceptance and realization that it's who I am, and I'm happy with who I am and where I am. That guy that said at the demonstration that, I don't think I could survive. You don't know until you're put in that position. And most people will do much better than they thought. And, it's one of those times where you have to really dig deep. And I said, if somebody, could be quite mild-mannered. Yeah, if someone broke into their house at night and threatened their wife and children, that guy would probably quite willingly give his life up to protect his wife and children. It's amazing what you're capable of when you're put in that position, and you don't know until you're put in that position. Then you really, really do find out, your true mettle.
Dave the Wood Barber says, I can't comment on if I would survive without my sight, but I do know that I take my sight for granted, and the transition from sight to no sight will be difficult.
Lots of people take their eyesight for granted. And let me just say, and this isn't to belittle any other disability, I'm just going to tell you what I think. If I had a disability and would have lost a limb, or I was paralyzed from the waist down, there's still so much you can do with prosthetics and adaptations. There are lots of people that are paralyzed that, have adapted cars, they get in, you can have hand controls. If people lose limbs, they can still drive and have prosthetic limbs. They can still see the members of the family just pick up a book and things like that. And when you go completely blind, you are massively screwed. And it's not just a couple of things of your life are made difficult. It's everything. Every second of that day is difficult, and eventually you get good at dealing with the difficulties. But in my opinion, it's one of the worst disabilities you can have. And obviously, I know there are worse conditions, and I haven't got the time really to go into them. But I think we all know, just to people with very severe disabilities that are profoundly disabled. Of course, there's people always worse off than yourself, but being completely blind, and to go blind so fast, it's right up there with a complete mind scrambler. So yeah, do not take your eyesight for granted. And people say to me, something really glib like, oh yeah, I'm short-sighted, so I sort of get where you're coming from. You haven't got a chuffing clue. That's the difference between someone owning a smart car and being able to pilot the space shuttle. They're just worlds apart. And people try to say, oh yeah, well, I sort of get what you're on about, Chris, because I'm short-sighted, I can't see a thing without my glasses. Get a grip, will you? I live in darkness 24/7. So it's a horrible disability, but it's who I am, and I'm so grateful really that I'm still here kicking life in the seat of the pants.
Well, let's talk about something more upbeat now.
Go on then.
So we're hoping at some point to have a chat with a blind woodworker in America called John Furness and his wife Annie. And I was reading on their website, they've been married for 3 years, and John has been blind since he was 16, but he does wood turning and woodworking. But it was some of the things that they'd said about how they met and sort of what had happened. And there were so many similarities. It was quite funny.
Oh, yeah, you said, I remember now.
So I don't know. Some of you might know this anyway. Chris and I met through one of my clients, Speed of Sight. I started working with Speed of Sight back in about October, November 2014. And I'd mentioned that I like doing photography, and John asked if I would do some photography for them at a track day. And Chris was one of the first people I think I started chatting to. And me being me, I was asking all sorts of questions like, oh, how did you go blind? And how do you use your phone? And how do you get text messages? And how do you do this? And how do you do that?
How do you know your backside's clean?
I never asked you that.
No, that came later.
I wanted to, but I just thought I didn't know you well enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just got to know each other, didn't we? And but it was later on, when things had evolved between us. Chris said to me one day, "Can I feel your face?" And I just thought that was quite extreme, really.
How else would I get to know what you look like?
I know, but it was sort of early days, wasn't it? But
did you let me?
I did let you.
There you go.
But what made me smile when I read about John and Annie was, I think John had said the same thing. And the funny thing was, after you'd said that,
must be one of the most used chat up lines by the blind. Can I feel your face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I googled, what does it mean when a blind man asks if he can feel your face?
It's a chat up.
Yeah.
But hold on, before we go any further, can I give a huge shout out to John Furness and his partner, Annie. Wife, sorry, Annie. Now, I've said before, you know, totally blind craftsman in the world. I'm not the only one. I'm the only one doing what I do in this country. But I do know that there are others around the world. We're very thin on the ground, but they are out there. John's one of them. He's a master craftsman and he's blind.
We're looking forward to talking to him.
So yeah, John is one of the few in the world that's really falling in love with working with his hands. And unfortunately, we were to Skype at the weekend, but Annie wasn't feeling that well, so it's been postponed. But yeah, really, really eager and keen, and so looking forward to speak to John and Annie. That'll be an epic chat. And I think he was involved in a TV commercial in America for Jeep, wasn't he? Was it Jeep? Some car manufacturer used him in a TV commercial.
About the other guy,
John Furness.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I might be wrong.
Well, what was that other guy as well that we've I've forgotten his name now. The one that was in the car, he took the couple in the car and they...
Oh, was that him? I thought that was John Furness.
No.
Oh, right. Well, I'm wrong then.
Yeah. There's another blind woodworker that has been in touch with us, and I forget his name. I can't remember where he's based now.
Oh, right, okay.
But he's set up a school.
Does he make furniture?
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, he makes furniture, and he's recently moved into a new building to set up this school. But he'd done an advert, and it was about a car, and he meets this couple in the advert in a cafe, and they're trying to get to such and such a place. So he says, "Oh, I'll show you where it is." And they both look at each other like, "How's a blind guy going to do that?" But it was a really good one, and it's
you described it to me, didn't you?
Yeah, it's very much what Chris does. Chris will often say when we're going somewhere, "Oh, you don't need your sat nav. I'll tell you how to get there." And he'll just say, "Oh, what's on your right now?" And I'll say, "Oh, it's the Cross Keys pub or whatever," and he knows exactly where we are and how to get there. Steve says, have you ever been in an awkward position where someone genuinely says something like, "OMG, did you see that, Chris?" and then realizes what they said? Oh, that happens quite a bit, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, people start correcting themselves. You don't have to. It's sighted people speak a certain way, and that's how they speak. So yeah, if someone says to me, "Chris, did you watch Star Wars last night?" I'd say, "Oh yeah, I love that film," which I do. Anyway, if I said to somebody, I automatically say, and Nicola will correct me, I say, did you listen to Star Wars last night? And Nicola's like, no, they watched it. They were able to. Oh, yeah, I listen to things and I say that. But sighted people, a lot of people say, hey, Chris, did you watch this? Or did you watch that? And then they go, oh, sorry, Chris, we'll forget. And it's all right. It's fine. That's how people talk.
Yeah.
Did you watch the film?
People say something like, they'll use the word blind, won't they? Oh, that was a blinding film, or something like that. And we think it's hilarious.
Yeah. And like, I sit in the blind spot in the car.
Yeah. Actually, I think last year when we were at Makers Central, or it might have been you, Kiss Steve, you do a lot of blind jokes, and I think it's really funny. And it's funny. It's much better when people do that, rather than trying to walk on eggshells and worry about saying the right thing.
I remember a few years ago, my Uncle Alan took me out for a pint. So we're in the pub, and I had me shades on, and some guy, he'd had a few, and he was sat at a couple of tables away from us, and he said to his friends at the table, check him out, what's with the shades? Who does he think he is? And they went, shh, he's blind. And he went, no fucking way. So anyway, he came out, he said, oh, I'm so sorry, mate, because I must have turned around and sort of like give him the evil eye. And he came over and he was so sorry, and he bought me a pint, well, an Uncle Alan as well, I think. So he said, oh, I'm sorry, mate, I didn't know, and in his finest Mancunian accent. So yeah, that was, yeah. But you see, he was there sort of like slagging me off, and I heard him. And his friend says, shut up, he's blind, he's got a cane. So he did apologise and he bought us a drink. So yeah, no foul.
Wayne the Woodturner says, how do you like your G&T?
Well, I just a single measure of gin, and then topped up with tonic. Just sort of like pretty plain and simple like that. And the reason why I'm drinking gin and tonic is there's less carbs in it. So I am losing weight, and I'll tell you what I am drinking. When I get up in the morning and before I go to bed, I am drinking organic apple cider vinegar in water. So it helps you lose weight, it detoxes your system, it reduces your cholesterol significantly, and Nicola's seen a big difference in my waistline. My t-shirts, although I'm sat down here now slouched, my t-shirts are a lot baggier on me. There's more room in the front, the back, the shoulders, the arms. So it does work. I am losing weight, and I love wine and things like that. That is my favorite drink, wine. But there's less carbs and less calories in a gin and tonic. So I like it anyway. I like gin and tonic, but I used to only drink it on the plane going away on holiday as a treat. But yeah, no, just a single measure, and that way one bottle can last me a couple of weeks. Tonic, going through a lot of tonic though.
So I think that's everything on my list. Anybody? How's everybody doing? Anything? Have you done anything good this Easter? Anybody got any more questions? Or
has everybody drank lots and eaten lots of chocolate and really pigged out?
Lindsay says, "Hi guys, it's Merlot time."
It is. It's always Merlot time.
Well, we had some chocolate. Someone bought me a box of little mini Easter eggs.
Amber's here. Amber.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello, Bam Bam. You say hello?
No. Oh, he's birds. That's nice for you. Yeah, so we've eaten some little Easter eggs, haven't we? And we've had a nice Indian the other night.
Yeah. Charlie's getting a bit old for Easter eggs, so we sent him 30 quid. You can put it towards his flying lessons.
Plymouth are bringing out a limited edition gin.
Oh, cool.
Steve says he's been carving rocks from the local beach. Yeah, I've seen pictures of those, Steve. They look really good. I saw, a couple that had sort of swirly.
Just with the Dremel?
swirly design. I'm not sure how he's been doing it. I've only really seen the photographs.
Is this with a rotary tool, Steve, and diamond tips?
They look really good. I really like them. I like the design you've done on them. So
I'm just waiting for a couple of answers now.
I know.
Yeah.
Hi Wayne, love the leaf platter and vase. Well, I've not seen those either. One of the things that's quite tricky really is because I log in as Chris, but I just don't get the time to really immerse myself in what's going on. So I'm really sorry that we don't comment that much. It's just time constraints. Occasionally, if I'm on Instagram posting for Chris, I might see something. So I'll mention it to Chris and I might comment, but generally it's just the time constraints. Steve says yes with a rotary and diamond tips.
Yeah, I've heard of the technique, but yeah, that'd be interesting. If you can, Steve, bring one to make us and let me have a feel, because I'm guessing it'd be very tactile.
T+G making. They've been building a new shed so that they have space for the lathe and dust collection long-term project. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We had a look at a shed, didn't we, today?
Well, one of my dreams is to get Nicola a summer house as a garden office, so she can go in there and write and think, and she can have a little writing desk and a nice chair and a little sofa, and she can put some nice girly pictures up, or probably photographs that she's taken. So yeah, that'd be cool. Just a posh shed.
Yeah, they didn't have anything.
They had one, but it didn't have enough windows in for what you'd like. So
well, that sounds good. Dedicated space for a lathe. Right then. Well, it's
what time are we on, folks?
20 to 9.
Well, I think that's been good, really, and
yeah.
I've thoroughly, as you know, as we said before, we are really enjoying the podcast. It's a lot of fun to think of what we're going to say.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun talking about it, and it's, funnily enough, it's a lot of fun listening back to it as well in the car.
We're sad like that.
Yeah, we need to get out more. But having said that, we're out quite a lot at the moment.
We listened to the last week's. Well, we finished listening to the end of it, didn't we, today?
We're not vain. We're just critiquing it.
Yeah, seeing where we can, what we sound like, and
where we can improve. Honestly, folks, when you know. Yeah.
Right then. Well, it looks like we've come to a natural conclusion here. So we will wish you all a very good evening. Thank you very much for joining us. It's great to have you along, and it does make a difference actually having some comments and interaction, because otherwise we'd be sat here just talking to ourselves,
which we do anyway.
But yeah,
Nicola and I, we don't listen to a lot of mainstream TV. We talk a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
And something will happen during the day, and then we'll go topic for the drive home, and we will discuss and analyze and deconstruct what had just happened. So we love to talk, and we bounce ideas off each other all the time. Yeah. And it's great. Mentally, it's very stimulating and enjoyable, isn't it? It's good to talk.
Yeah.
Like the TV advert from years ago. It's good to talk.
Yeah. Right then.
Right. So thank you very much, everybody. Go now and get yourselves a glass of wine, Guinness, Steve, a nice cup of tea, a coffee, a G&T. You have my permission, I'm sure you need that, to go and have a nice nightcap off at 6.
I'm just going to say as well, I read it, but I didn't read it out loud. Maker's International website has a link for £20 off sticker printing. So I'm going to go and have a look at that. Love the show. Listen next week. Guinness and Chinese. Happy days.
Happy days indeed.
Yeah. Have a great week, everybody. And we'll catch up with you again next week. Same time, same place.
Keep on turning, everybody. Thank you so very much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.